Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session that was created for a client that was going through a very stressful and anxious period of her life. There were various things that were happening that were unknown variables. And I've been working with people with severe anxiety for many, many years. I myself had very severe anxiety in my late teenage years, early 20s, which for those of you that don't know, led to me being a recluse for about a year. But having worked with a lot of people with anxiety, one of the key variables that tends to make a big difference on the level of anxiety is the extent to which the things are uncertain. Because there are variables that can be binary, so it's either a yes or a no. But then there are variables that could be any number of different possibilities, and they tend to create much more anxiety than either or outcomes. And this particular client had a number of variables that were completely uncertain. The people were outside of her control, the systems were outside of her control, and that was leading to a high level of anticipatory fear, where you think about the future, trying to mitigate all the different possibilities. But what was interesting is that this client's profession was a project manager. Now, I don't know a lot about project management, but what I do know about project management is that they have to think into the future and plan all the different variables and look at the resources available for those variables or those parts of a project, and almost create a chronological sequence of what is likely to happen, what needs to happen. And sometimes certain things can only happen after a previous thing has happened. So, for example, if you think of a project management of building a house, well, you can't put the roof on until the walls are made, and you can't build the walls until the foundation's laid. And there's many different projects in life where you can't do one thing until something else is already done. But because she had nearly 2 decades worth of experience in the world of project management, I could tell from the language that this client was using that she was in an unresourceful state. She was looking at it as something brand new. And when you look at it as something brand new, it's very easy for you to feel like, I don't know how to handle this situation. And that could increase anxiety. But once this client was able to look at it just like another complex project, and that she was better suited than most to preempt and manage projects, that was able to put herself in a more resourceful state. And that isn't to imply that what she was going through was just like any other project she dealt with, but more to associate an unresourceful situation into a resourceful state so that she could meet those same circumstances in a more prepared way. If you're going through a tough time right now, if you're going through a difficult situation where there's lots of moving parts, even though it's highly unlikely that if you're listening to this, you are a project manager, the idea of thinking it of a jigsaw puzzle with lots of different pieces or a project with lots of different stages may be helpful for you to think ahead as to how you can manage this problem or situation in a more useful way. And if you would like something more bespoke, every client that I've ever worked with has either a time in their life or a context in their life where they are at their most resourceful. And it's highly likely that that's the same with you. So if you are going through a tough time and you'd want some hypnosis built around your specific resources or skills or times when you felt at your most resourceful, there will be a link in the show notes to schedule a free consultation call. For now, though, you might find that this hypnosis session, albeit that it was created for someone else, could be quite useful for you. In which case, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of tension or stress or worry to leave your body in your outward breath. That's it. With your eyes closed, notice a feeling of relaxation go from the top of your head, down your forehead, feeling like any tension around your eyebrows, eyelids, and around your eyes is just melting away. Feel a lightness in your head. Almost like as you're breathing in this light feeling of helium. So you're feeling lighter, like you're floating. And as you exhale, any feelings of stress and heaviness just feels like it's leaving your body. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, allow the breathing to slow down. Notice any tension in the jaw starting to loosen and melt away. That when you breathe in, it feels like it's becoming easier and easier, effortless, activating that diaphragm, enabling you to take deeper breaths without even trying to. And as you exhale, notice a wave of relaxation going from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes, arms and legs feeling limp, loose and heavy. And I want you to feel an increasing feeling of lightness. Feel your body floating up just in your imagination. And I want you to imagine that you're floating over countryside, floating in the air. And off in the distance, I want you to imagine seeing the landscape change, becoming more rugged. Mountains and lakes just off in the distance as you continue to float that way. Continue to breathe in and breathe out, and before long, I want you to imagine you're floating over the mountains until you can see a spectacular mountain in close proximity to a lake. And I want you to imagine that you're floating down to the foot of the mountain, breathing in that fresh, natural countryside air and feeling how good it feels to just relax. I want you to imagine you're wearing whatever clothing is appropriate to be on a hike. And I want you to see the terrain of this mountain. And I want you to accept the idea that since the dawn of time, a mountain is a physical, natural representation of a challenge. It's easy just to walk on flat terrain, but a mountain is unpredictable, challenging, and it is the fact that it's difficult is the appeal. And I want you to imagine that you're starting to walk up the side of this mountain. You can set the intention to climb the mountain without knowing the specific path that you will follow. Sometimes you'll have to backtrack and take a different route. But you trust that through tenacity and determination, you will find a way. You simply have faith that your resources exceed the demands of this mountain. I want you to imagine that you're making your way up the mountain until maybe you're halfway up the mountain and there is a beautiful view of a lake beneath you. But for some reason, there on the side of that mountain is a desk, a comfortable chair, and a computer. And what's even more bizarre is that the computer works even though there's no electricity on the side of this mountain. I want you to imagine taking a seat on that chair, feeling deeper and deeper relaxed, and opening perhaps a laptop or switching on the screen of a monitor. And I want you to recognize software that is useful and suitable for managing a project. Also see nearby is a big pad of paper, pens and pencils. And I want you to get yourself into that state of mind that you are on the verge of a challenging project, but a meaningful project. The kind of project that feels that you would need to be at your best to navigate the pitfalls and the perils, to think about necessary contingencies. And I want you to get a growing sense that you are activating the resources necessary for you to be at your very best. And I want you to imagine that you are mapping out an ideal outcome for a project that affects people that you love and care for. And you're setting the intention to use your ways of thinking to be able to help in any way that you can. And I want you to imagine mapping out perhaps some kind of overview, maybe a timeline, maybe the different components. Maybe there's different areas. There might be a emotional element, a legal element, maybe even a mental health element. I want you to imagine mapping it out, but feeling inspired and feeling enthusiastic. That although you accept that you can't change the variables you can't change, perhaps you can help prepare for those things that can be prepared for. And in doing so, you become a source of stability, perspective, objectivity. The rational, prepared, organized member of a team of resources that are invested in a process to achieve a positive outcome. I want you to imagine that you are tapping into your inner strength and resilience, feeling empowered to face this particular project with confidence. Your mind naturally views this challenging time as a complex project, allowing you to apply your exceptional project management skills. It won't be smooth sailing, but every obstacle becomes an opportunity for growth and learning as you handle this situation with adaptability, but also perspective. There are many moving parts, but you effortlessly prioritize those tasks and responsibilities, taking all those years worth of experience to map things out, making them organized and pragmatic. You trust your ability to make sound decisions under pressure, knowing that what you've learned from the past could in some way be helpful in this particular context. In the past, when you've managed stressful projects, you didn't allow yourself to get too overwhelmed. The stress of the project just led to problems that needed solutions. So your mind remains focused and clear, filtering out distractions and maintaining a laser-like focus on the tasks at hand. You appreciate this isn't a solo project. You welcome the support of all involved, recognizing that collaboration and teamwork play a crucial role in managing the complexities of this situation. I want you to activate your highest level communication skills, allowing you to convey your thoughts and needs with clarity and assertiveness to whoever you need to communicate with. In any project, there are the known risks and perhaps the unknown risks. And for the known risks, you'll activate your year's worth of experience to prepare contingencies. And if any unknown risks or surprises were to pop up, you will immediately feel this resourceful, positive, problem-solving part immediately take control to evaluate your options. You approach this high-stakes situation with a sense of curiosity and determination, being open to new perspectives and strategies for success. Some projects take weeks, others take months, and sometimes one project flows into a new project. But the skills that you learn on this project that deals with people you know, love and care about will also be highly useful for your own individual life. Many large personal goals can be looked at as a project. Most of the most important things that people set out to do, career, finance, socially, aren't one choice, one decision, but a fusion of complex moving parts that all can contribute to progress in an area. And I want you to imagine that as you apply those 17 years worth of project management experience into this personal project, don't be surprised if it activates similar ways of thinking in other personal projects in your life. And remember, this is about progress, not perfection. So you will celebrate your achievements along the way, acknowledging your resilience and the valuable skills that you bring to this undesirable situation. Just because something wasn't desired doesn't take away the responsibility of a resolution. And you feel resolute in finding an outcome that has a positive impact on the people you love and care for the most. Things that used to cause anxiety in the past will now be perceived to be your intuition, giving you insight and perspective to validate, refine, or improve your plan. And no one else needs to know your plan but you. But very quickly, you will be able to share parts of your plan and test the feedback, the thoughts, sanity check those contingencies to possible problems, but communicating in a calm, confident way, not anxious or stressed. And in doing so, you'll be giving a sense of reassurance and confidence and calmness to those people that are emotionally affected the most. You will be the lighthouse in the storm, the foundation for what is being built, the author of these chapters that could lead to a much happier story. I want you to get a sense that you trust your skills at solving problems and managing complex things. As you turn the computer off, you continue to walk up the mountain with a new lease of life, a new energy, a new determination, a new resilience. And somehow the mountain doesn't seem as large as it did before. Everything seems like you can handle it much easier. And before you know it, the hardest part will be in the past, and it will be that slow, steady descent into a new, positive future. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Feel like you're returning to the present as you accept this journey in your imagination was just ideas within ideas, thoughts within thoughts, dreams within dreams, and that all of you are now fully in the present listening to my voice, as very soon I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, optimistic, feeling that you have unlocked valuable skills and resources that previous to this were there but not accessible. All these resources within you are going to be like additional members of a team to help influence a positive future outcome. starting to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.